Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest of boxing. If you want to become part of the notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, the channel donations, and the Patreon family we work in. Now, shout out to ES News. Link in the description in case you want to watch it. I watched an interview with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He's giving his thoughts on September 16th. Great fight. We have one more fight to get through. Well, actually two. The Hard Rock fight tomorrow, and then also the Chocolatito fight, and then it's fight week for Canelo Golovkin. I will be in Las Vegas. I'm very excited about that. But on ES News, Chavez, there's an interview, an exclusive interview, and he's giving his thoughts. And I got to say this disclaimer. It was very hard trying to get through the interview because his English is not the best. His English is broken, and like he was like stuttering, and it's hard to like follow. So I think if he spoke in his native tongue, if he spoke in Spanish, it would probably be easier maybe to understand. But I was doing my best to try to interpret and follow what he was saying. I want to do some pull quotes and then give my thoughts. Chavez Jr. says, when asked about Canelo Golovkin, who would win, he says the power is like the same, but heavy, a lot more Golovkin. I feel more the power of Golovkin in sparring than Canelo when I fought him in the fight. Canelo is no knockout puncher. That's what he said. He is good at combinations. He's good with timing, and this can hurt Golovkin. I'm going to read the pull quotes, and then because he was saying a lot, I'm trying to remember all of what he was saying. He said he picks Golovkin to beat Canelo, and he thinks Golovkin will knock him out. He says, yeah, Canelo's a very dedicated guy. He have a good shape. He picked the opponent in the wrong moment, not like him, but Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy. I think maybe this is a mistake for Canelo because he thinks he has a real middleweight. He thinks he has fought a real middleweight, but he has not fought a real middleweight, right? He said some other things, but that's kind of enough to get going, who he picked and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna be very upfront with you guys like I normally am. I didn't agree with a lot of what Chavez was saying, or I didn't follow it, I guess is a better way to say it, because I think he was saying things and then he was like literally contradicting himself right after. Link is in the description. You guys can check it out and see if you understand what I'm talking about. For example, he says Canelo and Golovkin, the power is like the same, but heavy, a lot more like Golovkin. So then the power is really not the same. If you just said Golovkin hits, you're basically saying his hands are heavier. So I don't really understand that. I don't understand how I would have just said Golovkin, he hits harder. You know what I'm saying? But he said the power is like the same, but heavy more like Golovkin. Then he says that I don't know if Canelo can knock out Golovkin or if he can hurt him. And then he says he's good at combinations. He have good timing, and this can hurt Golovkin. So it was just very hard for me to follow where he was going. Then he says that Canelo's very dedicated, and he hasn't fought a middleweight, but he fought you at 164.5. So that's technically super middleweight. So, and then later on in the interview, he talks about how he fought me, and that's good preparation for Golovkin. So I don't know what was up, but I had trouble getting the context of what he was saying, because it just, to me, it seemed all over the place. It seemed like he was like saying something and then he would contradict himself, and then he closed with saying like, oh, I don't have no beef with Canelo, I don't have no issues. And then earlier he was saying Canelo fought a lot of smaller guys and Shane Mosley, and then Ellie was kind of throwing out some names. Mayweather, he was like, yeah, Mayweather. And then Ellie, I think, said Austin Trout, and then Chavez Jr. says, oh, I don't like Austin Trout. And then Ellie said, why? And he's like, oh, he's just basic. So I don't know. It's weird. In that statement alone, Austin Trout's about to fight a champion in Jared Swift Hurd on a stacked Showtime card. So it's weird that Chavez Jr. is really saying someone's basic when he fought Canelo and put up a dud. Like, really didn't do anything. Got dominated. I literally, I'm not being facetious. I'm not joking. I gave Canelo every single round. I don't even know what round you could give Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in that fight. And going into the fight, I was favoring Canelo, but I thought Chavez Jr. could make it extremely tough. maybe even beat him. You know what I mean? But consistency wise, I was leaning towards Canelo. But I thought at the very least it would be maybe a war, right? But that was like almost worse than Angulo. I think Angulo, he got off to a slow start, but he was still throwing punches and he was still kind of trying. Looked like Chavez Jr. didn't. So a lot of what he was saying, and it's not because he's picking Golovkin, I don't care about that. It just seemed like all over the place, to be honest. And then he was talking about Canelo fought a lot of smaller guys, and I understand what he's talking about because I've said that on my channel back before, like Austin Trout. Canelo was fighting Ryan Rose, Matthew Hatton, Josecito Lopez. Floyd's not the biggest. He's not a true 154-pounder. Put Floyd next to Edeslandi Lara, Demetrius Andrade, Jermell Charlo, Jamal when he was at the division. Floyd would look a lot smaller than all them dudes. So we know this, and I understand that logic, but you can't really, you could say that maybe leading up to the fight, like he did. Oh, Canelo fought a bunch of smaller guys, but I don't feel like Chavez Jr. can really use that anymore when he just beat you and you were way bigger than him. So the interview is all over the place, but that's his thoughts. He says Golovkin's gonna win versus Canelo versus September 16th, I guess, via knockout. I just, like I said, listen to the interview. It's hard for me to follow. He says he picked the opponent in the wrong moment, not him, but De La Hoya and Golden Boy. I think this may be a mistake because Canelo, maybe he think he's fought a real middleweight, but he hasn't fought a real middleweight. So I don't know if he was maybe having difficulty elaborating, but he fought you at 164.5. So we'll see. But Chavez has maintained that Golovkin hits harder in sparring than what he felt in Canelo. Now, the last thing I'll say before I get off this video is I personally, I'm not really trying to hear that. That doesn't make sense to me. When if Canelo wasn't hitting hard at all, walk him down. You've seen little Floyd with brittle hands, 2 years off the couch, 40 years old. The moment he came to the realization that Conor McGregor couldn't do nothing with him and his punching power was not outer worldly, Floyd started pressing and walking him down. I was there at the press conference and Floyd Mayweather said, they said, what do you think of his power? He said, it's cool, it's solid. I mean, ain't nothing I ain't felt before. And if it was crazy power, then I wouldn't have been knocking him down like that. AKA, I'm a smart fighter. And if he was really cracking like y'all said he could crack, then I wouldn't have just been coming straight at him. I did that because I could. Floyd clearly is a smart fighter. So using Chavez Jr.'s style, known for having a good chin and come forward, he took Andy Lee's best punches and he was dancing and like showboating and coming forward, right? So to me, it's weird that Chavez is saying this of all people because of his performance with Canelo. Again, if Golovkin's hitting so much harder, then I feel like, why don't you just walk Canelo down? You're saying he ain't fought a real middleweight. He fought you at 164.5. Walk him down. If his power's not that, it's tickling you. So me personally, I don't like when fighters act like it's like they underrate people's power and stuff like that. But if it was that easy, then I feel like, why don't you just bulldoze them? You know what I'm saying? Bum rush them. If the power's not really affecting you like that. But to me, there's a reason, in my mind, there's a reason why Chavez Jr. was not really throwing punches. But let me know what you guys think. Interview in the description. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.